All right, all right. Good morning. Another day, another dollar. Oh, look, this guy spammed us again. All right, cool. At least he's paying attention. Oh, so I got to tell you, man, that the hay fever is just kicking the heck out of me. Um, and then yesterday I hooked up with some people and went and got some dirty Chinese food. Forget about it. I was sick all night. My body's just not used to dirty food anymore. I've been eating too clean. So here I am, crying as usual. Starting out the week. So real quickly, we got balance of trade. Deficit came in a little wider than expected. Really no big deal. Markets aren't really reacting that much. Jobless claims a little hotter than expected. And continuing claims a little hotter than expected, which is good because this is offsetting the inflation fears, right? So really, we still have to get past non-farm, which is tomorrow at 8:30. Which shows a good trade on futures. So I'm going to be on early tomorrow so that we could talk about that trade and everybody understands that trade because that's a moneymaker every month. Well, obviously, we're in the market and nothing is every, but for the and so it's a good trade. It's a good, consistent trade to catch. I got a few of them in futures that I do, and also one in the Russell. But we'll slowly start expanding our trading for me and Tommy, because that looks like it's our channel, Tommy. Actually, I think I'm just going to rent some office space in your office and just hang out and trade with you. Oh, wait, I think you lived somewhere cold, didn't you? Nope, that's not for me. I'm a delicate flower. So anyway, that's what's going on as far as the news. Just really nothing going on. Yeah, people are starting to pay attention to China. Germany's doing its meek and feeble attempts to posture. But, they play two ends against the middle. And, they do this ridiculous proceed. Well, they go into the China Sea with their navy, and then they ask permission from the Chinese governments to port. So it's basically them not rattling any cages. So that's my opinion piece. So we're looking at the futures. We're up 7 on the S&P. It's really no big deal. Nothing going on. Yesterday we had a crazy inside day, which we kind of talked about and anticipated for the day. Here we go. So look, perfect inside day. Today, we might be able to find a trade breaking the high and low of yesterday's trade. And I'm thinking this 380 is a good number. 4380 is a good number on the S&P. But, it could be just more of the same consolidation. I mean, it still would be a rough trade. You have all this congestion back here that you have to fight your way through to get a decent move. So when you have this congestion, it just bounces off the resistance points and whacks you around and chops you out. Just makes a choppy market. I mean, if you're a novice and you trade without stops, then you may make some money. But if you're a professional and you trade with stops, then it's just a choppy market one you avoid. I'm looking at the 60 here, and you can see this channel that the 60 has built, which is a really nice channel. And if you follow the MACD along that channel, you can see the MACD is starting to taper out a little bit. It's starting to consolidate. Or it could be reversing. The reason I say that is here you have this high, you have a low, lower high, lower low. Now you have a higher high. And I'm thinking you're going to have... you could have a lower low or a higher low, but I mean, it's really just consolidating. If it puts in a lower low and then breaks to the upside, we could say that's a trend change, and we might break this channel to the upside down the road. I mean, nothing's going to happen until we get rid of this jobs report, this non-farm. And then again, like I said, the industry is on vacation, so yeah, this whole month is going to be kind of weak. The city's absolutely dead. I'm talking to traders and in firms, and they're telling me nobody's around. Or some of the guys I normally talk to aren't around. They're out at the Hamptons. So everybody's just monitoring their position. Nobody's taking on anything heavy. And I think that's going to be the rest of August. And that's it, man. AMC's doing exactly what we said. So I'm glad I got involved with that for you guys. And you weren't the guys left holding the bag. Oh, actually, it rebounded a little bit, but it was low in the 20s, but it's just grinding its way down. 29.80, 81. It broke that support that we were looking for of 31.15, and really, I think this 200-day moving average, the 22, is the next stop. And then. Yeah, this is just a real heavy-looking pattern. I had told you when I saw this pattern, it was very familiar. And it just looked heavy and looks like it was going. This was like the last test of the high, This is where the Ape Nation bought the shorter stock, brought the price up. I think that, my guesstimation is the average short price is pretty much in this area right here. I think 34 was the number. I didn't write it down. I'm not going to do the math again. So, they're going to look for that to break that 200-day. Breaking that 200-day, they're coming back to where they made their initial shorts. And if the fundamentals haven't changed, they're probably hanging in on this. This is the shorter's wet dream, this play. Can't really say that, right? Because you don't get likes when you say that. Although... since we're intimate with everybody who's on our channel at this point, we could be honest. Richmond, Virginia. Oh, man, I like Virginians. Buddy of mine went to Old Dominion. He was from New York, ended up down in Virginia, called it Eden. He lived there for quite some time. Then he got married to a chick with a big old whip, and he's back in New York suffering again. Suffering. In Richmond. Yeah, you're not that cold. I mean, I'll just cry a few months out of the year. But I think like end of March, you guys are pretty comfortable. I find North Carolina, which is the next state over from you, they like February is kind of it. End of February, March is usually really comfortable, and it really doesn't get gnarly until after. And gnarly, I mean, you don't even see snow down there, but after December. So like 3 months of me crying, I mean, that's tolerable. Although I want to be in an environment that I don't cry at all this winter. Yeah, that's probably old school New Yorkers. When New York was a great place to be. It's a different animal now, man. It's just these crybaby liberals. And, liberal now is really just a title. It's not even a political philosophy. I mean, they're liberal and they believe in freedom as long as you think exactly the way they do. It's unbelievable. But, yeah, the state is just ridiculous. So everybody's moving out, except the bozos who don't realize how ridiculous it is. Yeah, down in around North Carolina, I find that it's not every year that you get snow. And then when you do, like even an inch or two shuts down the city because they have absolutely no snow moving equipment. And that's it. They just wait for the sucker to melt. So, you can get 2 or 3 inches and forget about it. You're living with it for a long time until it melts. And, people literally shut down. It's crazy. But otherness coming down. It's like that culture is going to be lost, that respectful, well-raised, manner-oriented culture, and it's a shame it doesn't migrate up north and that be the face of the country. But apparently ignorance and anger is a dominant force, So hopefully you could roll the people. I know when I went up into the mountains, when I first got here, everybody waved when you drive by. And I used to love that, man, and I got so into it. But more and more people migrated up into these communities, especially after like 9/11 and stuff like that. And now nobody waves. Everybody has a sourpuss on their face and just looks at the car pass. And they bred that out. Then I went down south, and again, everybody's so courteous and they wave, and you don't walk down the street and look at somebody without a greeting, a good morning, good afternoon, or anything like that, or a smile, and I know that once you get these northerners in there, that's funny, I've even separated myself from them, but once the northerners head in there, man, they're just going to blow that up. Florida, when I was a kid, my folks and my grandfolks used to go down to Florida all the time. My grandfolks had a house down there since, I was like 4. So, just as they became grandparents, they bought a house down there, and they went between New York and Florida. And, you had that Southern hospitality down in Florida, and they were good old folks, and, it was cool. And, now forget about it, man. It's like being on Long Island down in Florida. I can't deal with the culture that's in Florida now. It's a shame. Dave's trials and tribulations. This is what you guys get for waking up early. So we're looking at, what are we looking at here? We're looking at AMC. I brought it up, and I did talk about it. It broke that 31.15. We're looking for the 200-day, and I'm confident that's gonna happen. So hopefully you guys took your goods, and personally I think it's a wrap, man. It's a hard thing for me to say that because I don't want to cost anybody. So obviously you have to make your own decisions on it. But for my money, I'd walk away from this. If I was in the money right now, I'd just preserve any profits. If the thing runs, then to hell with it. It runs without you. No big deal. You made money. I think this has been good to everybody, and except the dude who picked it up at like 65. But for the most part, this has been good to everybody, and they made their money. And I think that you ought to just put this one in the history books. This XOM, by the way, Exxon, really good stock to collar or sell calls against, if you're familiar with that, if you know that. I invest in it because the dividend is so aggressive. It really, it doesn't go anywhere. And when it tanks, I get involved. So I got involved with this thing a long, long time ago, on bloody days when it was really low. So, I'm crazy in profits on this thing. But it's very volatile, and I just keep improving my position or increasing my capital gains by selling calls or doing a spread or what have you on it. But the dividend is like 6 or 7%. So if my money's going to sit somewhere, I'm going to collect that 6 or 7%. And then obviously with the with typical cost of living, it's going to just keep going up. So good place for your money. I like it. I'm not too crazy about the petroleum industry or these fuels. But I'd like to believe that these guys understand they need to be an energy company instead of an oil company, and they'll start getting into different markets. They need to, otherwise, again, it's another company that's getting a bigger market share of an ever shrinking industry. Yeah, you need at least 100 shares because one contract is equivalent to 100 shares. So yeah, you got to have at least 100 shares to sell a call. Yeah, I don't know any way around that. But I mean, if you can't do that strategy, just you could still just slowly build your position. I mean, every time it dips, pick up a few more, pick up a few more, pick up a few more. The dividend is great, and it always rebounds. Actually, we should have a daily. I mean, I just grabbed some more, and when I say just, I mean, probably pre-pandemic or around when the pandemic hit, when everything tanked. Yeah, I know I'm down in the 30s. Yeah, I guess right around here, October, November. And you could see this is the same chart, right? Well, I'm looking at the daily, but this is the same pattern that we look for when we're actually, if I shrink it, when we're scalping or day trading, right? So here's the move down. Here's the momentum move down. Here's a bottom. We could cross here. Here's the bottom with the bottom in October. Really aggressive Mac Daddy bottom. And then here's a lower low, but let's move this up here. Here's a lower low, but the Mac Daddy is considerably higher. So on a long term, with just what you've learned trading intraday, if you use that on the daily charts, that shows you your entry, right? So you could take an aggressive entry, breaking this bar right here. This bar right here, it's just that pop-up gets in the way. So you enter right at the high of the 33.13, which I'm certain that's where I took it. Or if you want to be more conservative, wait till it breaks the previous high, which is the 34.95, which, what are we talking about? $2 on a $34 stock for a long-term hold? Who cares if you gave up those $2? And then, boom, away she goes. She does the break, it comes back, and you forget about it, and you're in cheap. But, you could use the tactics that I'm showing you on long-term charts to gauge your long-term investments. Obviously, you do your homework and your fundamentals, but plan your entries based on the technicals, and you could do very well for yourself. So that was an add-on position. I mean, I've been accumulating Exxon for years, but I did very well on that add-on. I mean, not too long ago, it was up in the 60, 65s, and I didn't make a move on it because it's just it's just where I hold my wealth. So I'm sure my kids will make a decision on that when I'm dead. I would say dead and buried, but with the sailing plans I have, I'll probably be dead and in Davy Jones's locker when they're selling Exxon. So anyway, that and that's why you accumulate cash. Like right now, I think we could all comfortably argue that the market is really, really high. And we were talking before that, it's not, you don't look at it as it's due for a correction, right? You look at it as how vulnerable it is to the next catalyst. And when it starts getting more and more vulnerable, you say, okay, now I'm going to start reducing my exposure. And you don't get out of it because markets could stay irrational longer than you could stay liquid. So, if you're like, this market is too high, it's too irrational, and you shorted the market, well, you know what? That baby could keep climbing longer than you could afford the margin calls on that short. So, you never, their rules for getting in and why they're in are different, and they have rules for getting out too. At one point they could get squeezed out of an irrational market, but then find another entry. So anyway, as a retail investor, you just keep a piece in there and let it keep going. If it keeps going, it keeps going. You know, if the market turns around, consolidates, shows some stability, and looks like it's going to move up, and the fear of it correcting aggressively changes, then you start adding onto your positions again. You know, but if you see that it's very vulnerable, you look around at what's going on in the environment, you say, okay, I'm going to reduce my exposure. And then you get those debacle days, or that catalyst that nobody ever sees coming, and you're liquid with cash and you get to buy in, and that's how wealth is created in the market. You know, the all or nothing concept just doesn't work. You know, like, I'm getting all out right here. My sister, you know, I tell her all the time what to do, how to do it, but, you know, she's a typical Italian chick, and she, I mean, you know, she knows better. I mean, despite the fact that I've been at the top of my game for 30 years and made a lot of money doing this, she knows better. So she didn't take my advice sometimes. She missed some stuff. But, I mean, she's still doing okay. But, you know, she gets that all or none concept also on occasion. So anyway, the all or none doesn't work. I mean, you know, I even put the homework in because, you know, this is what I do. And I still, that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, you know, I still just reduce my position. I don't get out of it. So, anywho, we're moving in this channel up here nicely. And actually, the momentum seems to be tapering off, consolidating. So it's actually gaining strength. And the longer this consolidates like this, the better it's looking, you know? I'm still feeling 43.20. I don't think 43.20 is... And I mean, that's really not a lot. You know, we've seen the market come down 70 points, you know, in a day. And I bet we do see 43.20 before we make that move higher. I bet we do, but, you know, I'm not liquidating anything and waiting for that 43.20. You know, I'll take a piece off, or maybe a big piece off, and wait for that 43.20. But it just looks logical. I bet it's a one-day move, too. You know, I bet we come down to the bottom of that channel for a little while and then have a one-day move, bang, tag that 43.20, bounce off of it. This is what I'm feeling. Which that'll be a good day. We'll probably see that, see a good support, see a good entry pattern at around that major support. And that's a good trade, man. That fits our rules. And away we go. Got 5 minutes till the party starts. Let's see if we got anybody coming out that's of news today. AIG announces. American Homes. That should be interesting. Those guys will probably put up some good numbers. Duke Energy. They used to be a big name. Global Star. Yelp announces. Zillow announces. So we got some good. No, did I go to? No, today's the 5th. I wonder what's going on with Matt. Huh? What's he telling the people now? I wonder if he's even thinking about the plan B. I mean, what does he do when AMC? I mean, actually, you know what? I see what he's doing already. Naked shorts proof. He's already pointing fingers, man. You know. Oh, he went live. Oh God, and his viewers are dropping off. Yeah, this dude. So if you have Matt Core's stock, you might want to short it. 14 hours ago. Naked shorts proof with a question mark. The guy has no understanding of how the industry works. And they have these baby faces. They're interviewing these kids, man. You know, I'd love to see them in a brokerage firm or an investment banking firm or something. Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do, man? The hype is over, right? These guys, they're about viewers, man. These guys are professional YouTubers. They're not traders. You know, they're not investors. They're professional YouTubers. You know, I mean, look at the editing that goes into it and everything. And I mean, that's a lot of time, man. You know, I trade for a living and then I have a life. I don't have time for that. If I YouTubed for a living, you know, my site would be a lot prettier and my streams would be a lot more professional and my market recaps, and I'd get the ums and uhs out of my language, and yeah, I would develop that persona, you know, and that's what these guys do. So, you know what? I mean, my lack of professionalism on YouTube just speaks to my my vocation, you know, and what I'm really about. If I had all, that's a lot of time, man. I mean, that's why I keep saying, yo, I'm trying to do this stuff for you guys, but I don't do the stuff. I mean, it's just really a lot of time, and yeah, you know, I mean, everybody's cool here. You know, oh, party started. But, yeah, you know, I mean, you see what I do trading, the money I make. I mean, how much time am I going to spend on YouTube? You know? So party started, and we're getting that initial run up. And we're still inside, I believe. No, that doesn't make sense if we're above. Oh, well, that's the close. So the high for yesterday is 416. So, you know, we're still inside. Breaking that 416, you might want to go long on that. Yeah, and you know what? We're so close. I mean, we're building a bull flag on the 30-second bar, but we're so close to the 16, you might as well wait for that break of the 16. And you're taking a break of an inside bar, which is a pretty valid trade. I'm sure a lot of people out there are looking at that trade. That should be a lot of buying behind it. I wonder if that spammer liked the channel at least. You know, at least if you're going to spam the channel, give me a thumbs up. Throw me a bone. So we moved right to a grind. And those two white horizontal lines is yesterday's trading range or opening range. So we're actually inside of yesterday's opening range. Oh, and that's interesting. Pretty much 16, yeah, which was yesterday's high. That's interesting. But again, with the non-farm tomorrow, who knows how much movement we're really going to get out of this thing. I might even be a big sissy today and not even take the trade. Especially with this consolidating. And we're testing the highs. Now let's see if it bounces off or breaks through that 16. All the markets are working in lockstep, so you know that's bodes well for a move. I'm taking that high right there. Next stop should be 40.25. I'm going to go one off and just risk the profits I made on that one piece. Not off yet. They're holding out on this. Oh, there you go. I just got hit. They weren't jumping up those premiums. Come on, keep pushing. Let's get some strength. Watching the composite. The Dow is trading off a little bit, but the composite is still pushing up. So techs will carry. And we got energy and futures and financials moving up. So this should drag the market up. Looks like the Dow is holding it back a little bit. Dow's starting to turn around, making a little flag. Yeah, it's just not running the way it should, man. Come on, come on, come on, come on. I think I'm going to take another one off if I can get up to that buck again. All right, I got another one off, and I got 1/3. Stop at a break even. I'm just going to see if this baby starts running. So I picked up 100 a contract on the first two units. See, but this is not my kind of market. You know, like when setups break, they should run. And when I don't see that, I just say, to hell with it. Too hard to work. Looky. I'm starting to have troubles with my my streaming. That is most interesting. Probably have to recycle my router today. Yeah, we're actually putting a double top in. Come on. This is your chance. If it doesn't break here, it's probably going to turn around, trade off a little bit, probably back into the range. I'm still in it with a third of my position. Picked up a buck on the 2/3. Oh, almost. Almost. Oh, I'm out. So that took me out. I picked up $100 on 2/3 of the trade. which it wasn't bad. I mean, I put some size on it, so made it worth waking up early. I had a buddy. Actually, he was the guy who was portrayed as the drug dealer in Wolf of Wall Street. And he actually wasn't a drug dealer. He got in trouble trading guns, automatic weapons, or buying automatic weapons, ended up losing his license. So a lot of the depictions of those guys in Wolf of Wall Street weren't accurate. But anyway, he was a really, really sweet guy. Yeah, he was kind of dopey. He was like a street guy, and but really sweet. Had street smarts about him, so knew how to make money. But anyway, he was, and he lived, from hand to mouth. Made a killing, but spent a fortune. There was one time I wasn't with him, but a couple of people that I knew were out with him that weekend. And I believe they were in Atlantic City. And he had given the concierge a credit card for the room and everything like that. And they went up and they went to bed. They partied up for like a day or two, and then they were in bed. And the guy came down, and they took a presidential suite because that was the kind of guy that he was. I mean, he just, had to live that jet set lifestyle. The hotel manager was banging on the door because the credit card wasn't any good. And there was like a $15,000 bill or something like that from them partying and the room and things like that. And he was laying in bed yelling his name, which I'm not going to say because they didn't use his name, but let's call him Jean-Pierre. And he was laying in bed yelling, "Jean-Pierre does not get out of bed for $15,000. And the concierge is like, "The card's no good. You have to vacate the room or square up the deal." He's like, "Don't worry about your money. Jean-Pierre does not get out of bed for $15,000. Funny guy, man. Funny guy. He died young, man. He died at like 34, 35. He was like 6'4", and he was just chiseled, man. Just looked like a Greek god, but wasn't big and bulky. Just really a really, really good-looking man. And it was all from pills. Like, he took steroids and he took stuff to cut the fat on his body, and he worked out, no doubt, but the cut on him was all like superficial. And he partied and took your traditional happy guy drugs. And he literally had to take drugs to help him urinate and everything. I mean, his organs were shutting down and everything at a young age. And he was at a club in Florida, and he was there with his girl and a couple of guys who were working for him at the time. And he told his girl he didn't feel so well. He's going to go lay down in the car, and he had a limo that night. So he went back to the limo, laid down, and just passed away, died in his sleep. They found him when they were done partying. They found him in the car dead. It was a shame. He was a really sweet guy, really, really sweet guy. I mean, I wasn't, about their business, but he did hire me once to help him set up an investment bank. Hired me as a consultant, and he was great, but his partners were just idiots. And they couldn't think past the grift, and there's easy ways to make money in this industry legally. So I kind of walked away from that whole agreement, but he and I remain friends because he's just an honest, true friend. I can't say an honest person because he'll do anything for money, but he was just a genuine kind of guy as far as friends go. So anyway, that's I have actually lots of stories about those guys. And I actually met those guys before I was in industry. Just so happened that a guy who lived across from me in a condo when I was young grew up with Danny Porsche, actually, and who was depicted as the fat guy who married his cousin. But he was actually a short, skinny, looked like, a morphine kind of guy. You know, he was like scrawny, thin guy. You know, short. He did genuinely marry his first cousin, though. It was like all the scandal in the neighborhood. But that's how I met them. I met him. I wasn't even in the industry when I met those guys. Just so happened that, you know, some years later I went into the industry. I was in contracting when I met them. But the depictions of them are all different. Like the Chinese guy, they portrayed him as a short, fat guy. He was another 6'2", you know, and beautiful Chinese guy. Like, you know, normally Chinese guys aren't all that attractive. But this guy was, well, he was Chinese and Italian, actually. So he was a mixed breed. And forget about it, man. I mean, women were all over him. I mean, if you cracked his head open, vagina would have fallen out. I mean, yeah, you know, he was just such a good-looking guy. And he went on to open another investment bank that got in trouble. He was tied up with gangsters and stuff like that. But, I mean, it makes for interesting stories. But, yeah, you know, there's no reason to do business like that in this industry. I mean, these guys have to be sociopaths, because if you're smart and you work hard, you make a lot of money in this industry. So you have to really love breaking the law to break the law in this industry. Confessions of a New York financial guy. That's what this week is turning into, because there's just no trading going on. You guys will learn all about my depravities. I'm just watching the market make this this M pattern. I mean, you could see the rationale for why I kept the tight stops and what I'm talking about, how these days trade. So, you know, we made this break and now we have this double top. You know, it's just trading back and forth. And it may very well run to my targets, but it's going to go back and forth and back and forth. And, you know, again, if you're a novice, you're like, oh, these stops are killing me. It keeps knocking me out of the game, and people remove their stops. And then, yeah, they make money under these circumstances, usually. But the end result is they take a beating because, you know, the reason you put your stop in is because ideas break down, and when ideas break down, they go aggressively the other way, and that's where you get blown up. So, you know, these are the kinds of trading days that help the novice rationalize breaking their rules. But you know, it's a long game, and over the long run, that philosophy does not pay out, you know, and that's how you look at it. I mean, yeah, you could say, hey, Dave, I would have made money if I didn't follow your rules. But if you follow my rules over the long term, you're going to make money. That's a very hard aspect of this business, just being caught in these kind of situations and reinforcing breaking your rules. That's what makes trading hard. But once you get the understanding that there are times that you would be rewarded if you broke your rules, but you know they cast a shadow on compared to what, I don't know if I'm using the metaphors, but they're insignificant, those profits, compared to what the losses are by breaking your rules. Which maybe one person listening now will get that, and the other three will kill themselves or kill their portfolios doing that one simple mistake. Okay, today should be the last day of lawn care for me. And then I could just chill. And I think this pollen is just killing me. Big old sissy. It smells great, though. The air is so fresh. It smells so good up here. And it's funny, even if I wanted to get somebody in to manage the property, there's nobody around here. That's one hang up of living off the grid. Like, if you're like, all right, I'll take advantage of this one decadence, you have nobody to do the work. Nobody's here to, like there's no landscapers or anything. Here we go, we're grinding up. Now, look at that 30-second chart, man. Who the hell wants to trade that little tiny bars, just sad little chart. See, we were talking about the trade deficit and the continuing jobless claims and everything. I mean, unemployment's at a pandemic low, but it's still higher than expected. And I think it was J.P. Morgan upped their estimate. Wait, let me take a look. Goldman Sachs upped their expectations on the S&P because they expect now that interest rates are going to stay low. So they're calling for a higher S&P. Right. So, here we are. We're looking at the dailies and the 60s and looking at the vulnerability and saying, this market can't really take a hit. But, now, you have these guys making these calls, which are probably out a month or two, to the target. And the market's going to move up, based on this philosophy. But it doesn't change the fact that the market still looks very vulnerable. And the catalyst that's going to bring this market down is not anything anybody's looking at right now, right? So nobody was looking at the financial crisis, the mortgage crisis. Nobody was looking at a pandemic. These things just come up and blindside you. So, you can't say what the next catalyst is that's going to drag the market down. You could only say, hey, when the next catalyst comes, how's this market going to handle this hit? And really, we handled that hit pretty well. I mean, it didn't throw us into a bear market, right? It just, we took a major correction, and then that market rebound. And we literally shut down an economy, Whether I agree with it or not is another rant. But after shutting down the economy, we just turned around and took off. And everybody saw the strength in the economy, and it took off. And that was the strength of the market. Nice, healthy correction, and boom, it took off. Took that hit, So, and a lot of you youngins don't realize it, but there are markets where they just keep trending down year after year. And that's happened before. I mean, it might not be the case now because, our economy is weaponized. But, I mean, it's not impossible. And if they can shake China and China's economy and their economy starts shrinking, then the Treasury is going to let our market sit back a little bit. They'll just keep us a step ahead of China. But right now, they're trying to stabilize China. And until they do, you could be confident that our stock market's going to keep going up. But once they do destabilize China, then you'll start to see a correction. So that it's like loading the gun again. They get a little correction, and then they have the strength to move it up and keep us ahead of everybody. But things are going to get ugly with China, man. But I'll tell you, when we're in a fight with China, I'd much rather have that ass-grabbing, insult-slinging president than, one of these soft-touch presidents. Although, I mean, nobody really liked Winston Churchill either. I mean, that guy was like a real dick. But yeah, excellent prime minister, got him through a war, tough as nails. That's what you need. You need a real dick in office, especially when freedom's on the line. And I don't think people really realize how your freedoms are at stake right now, because everybody has their big screen TV, so they figure everything's all right. And these are just my opinions. It's not the gospel. And you know what they say about opinions, right? We all got them. Here we go, making that move to the upside. See, man, I can't trade this. That's just too much work, all this up and down. I don't want to watch that. I don't want to see my position go back into heat, and I don't think these expectations are unrealistic. So I just sit on my hands and look at these little bars. This is just so pathetic. Look at this. We really all should be fishing right now. You know what I'm saying? Everybody come up to my place, man. We'll build a fire down by the river, do a little fishing, and we'll cook up whatever we catch. Little fishing. I'm really not a good fisherman. My girlfriend, she's a good. When I say girlfriend, it's actually my wife. We're just not legal. But she's amazing, man. She's like the fish whisperer. I mean, I don't even think she has to put bait on her hook. And I could be standing right next to her. Forget about it. I don't catch a thing. But she can pull them in left and right. We were up in Patagonia, actually. We were chilling with the Mapuche, who are the local people in Patagonia. And they loved taking her down the river. Either something nasty was going on down the river, or they just dug fishing with her. But, like every day they wanted to take her fishing, go down the river. She always came back with fish, so I figured they weren't messing around. Well, maybe they stopped off at a fish store and filled up the fish, but everybody was smiling and there were a ton of fish, so I wasn't going to argue. Whatever it took, we were eating good. My girlfriend sleeping with a bunch of Mapuche. I'm glad she doesn't listen to the stream. So we were down in Patagonia is part of Chile, and we were just kind of cruising through Chile. And when we're in the Providence, so like how we do it is we fly out there, and we do everything right, and we stay in a great hotel in the city and the whole 9 yards. We get geared up. We I'm getting spammed on my phone, Who is this? Somebody's asking me to email them a copy of my birth certificate. Sure. How about my bank account? So anyway, we landed. We flew into Santiago, and really great city. Like has a very European feel, and stayed at a really nice hotel and partied up in there. And then we just grabbed like a rucksack with like a change of clothes, and we're off. And I mean we'll wash our clothes in a sink or or a river or whatever, and we just start bumming it through the country, and. So anyway, we ended up in Patagonia. I can't even think of the names, but and the rule is once we leave the jump off point, we're supposed to be hippie out. But we ended up in this one area that was on the side of a volcano, and there were hot springs everywhere. It was amazing. Like you're walking through these trails, and we just strip our clothes off and jump into these hot springs and hang out. And So we came across this hotel that was just built out of granite, and it was all granite and stone from around that mountain, and it was just amazing. So we broke our rule and got decadent and stayed there and hung out there for a while, and that was cool. And then from there we headed off, and hooked up with the Mapuche and went into Patagonia, and went and saw the puffins, and but I mean, the puffins are elusive, or they're not real, because I swear I never saw anything that looked like a puffin. But the captains of the boats insisted those were puffins, but we saw a lot of sea lion and seal and stuff like that. So anyway, we go throughout the whole country, and we probably spent close to a month doing this, and we went back to Santiago to get ready to come back to the States. And we figured, all right, we'll spend another week or so in Santiago, and we're walking around. And Josephine's very, I did it again. Well, anyway, my girlfriend is very sensitive to pollens and scents, and it's like an Asian thing, man. They have nose like canine. And so we're walking through the city, and she's like, oh, something's burning my nose. I'm like, you just, whatever. She's just being a baby, which really can't accuse her of, because she'll walk through a jungle, no problem. But I'm like, yeah, whatever, your nose is burning. And then, like infants started crying around us in the streets and stuff. And then all of a sudden, her eyes are watering. And then like a block later, my eyes are tearing. And then the next thing you know, there are canisters flying over our heads. There was a riot. The Mapuche were actually rioting because, they're indigenous, and Europeans took over Chile and pushed them out. So there was a whole riot. And over there, it's not like the States. I mean, everybody was in riot gear, like the military was in riot gear, and we got tear gassed and everything. And, it was amazing. My eyes were like, looked like two golf balls. My tongue was swollen. We make it back to the hotel. We look at each other like, oh, this is a great vacation, because we had that experience of being caught up in a riot and we got tear gassed and everything. And we still talk about it like, wasn't that great? And, we walk into the hotel. They're like, oh, you guys got tear gassed. It was like, just another Saturday. There's no money to be made, so hopefully I'm entertaining you guys enough where you want to stick around. I hopped in my truck yesterday for the first time since Sunday, I think it was. And I forgot I had brought whatever meat I had on the boat up with me in my cooler. And when you plug the cooler in, if the battery gets low in the car, the cooler will shut down so that it doesn't kill the battery. And I forgot all about it, like 3 days. Man, what a whiff I got. Oof, what a smell when I opened that door. And what a shame, too, man, because it was the back straps. Oh, what a drag. That's like the choice cuts, It was like one back strap, but it was a big piece. Breaks my heart, and I haven't looked in the freezer yet. I don't think I have any more back strap. So that was probably the last bit. And I brought it up because I was like, all right, cool. I'll throw that baby on the fire. I've got the girls up here, and, we'll have a really nice dinner with some back strap. And then some ribs, too, were in there. Oof, boy, was that a killer. So now I got to clean my cooler. It's got to be my old age. Oh, this might be one of my chillins. Look, we're just grinding up to the targets. I think, what did we say, 22 was our next number, or 25? Rice-a-roni. See, look at that. Just a choppy market, man. Everybody sit on your hands. Keep your money to yourself today. I'm sorry I'm quiet. I'm just talking with somebody who just needs a little help, or texting with them. Hey, Hilmar, how are you? So what's up, Helmar? You just going to say hi? Nothing more to add? Just a choppy market, ladies and gentlemen. It's trading back and forth. What are we into this thing? We're into this thing already an hour, and we've made no progress. No progress. I mean, we're getting into the time of the midday reversal, but we really got nothing to reverse. I mean, maybe we'll pull back 15 points. Could be. If we're looking at yesterday's close to today's open, we might come back 15 points, but it's too choppy. I'm not going to even run another trade. I have decided. I picked up $100 a contract. So $1, not $100 a contract, but $1 a contract, which is $100. On 2/3 of my position. And really, just because I was like, oh, this isn't working, I closed the second third and just held the last third at a break even. And that's it. Boom, got popped out. But if you look at the 1 minute chart down here, I mean, this is the extent of the move. We opened and had this run up, and we ground our way up over here. We're probably going to come down and hit that 414.67 mark and just stay within that channel for the rest of the day. Although yesterday we had a sell-off at the close, right? Yeah, like a 12-point sell-off, no big deal. And we're in yesterday's trading range, opening range. So just a consolidation. Everybody's just waiting on that news tomorrow. But you know what? I wouldn't mind if this market, just does this for the rest of the summer, man. Just hang out here, consolidate, build some strength, and go, daddy, go. Viacom. If we're talking about the same stock, because it looks like you might have fat fingered it. I've got a target of like 62 or 64 on Viacom. Wow, what's it doing today? Look at you, son of a gun. Oh, they had earnings, I think, today. But, I mean, I'm looking at 62 or 64 on the stock. I mean, that's my targets. You know, I don't know how long it's going to take, but as far as valuation, that's how I see it. This isn't a trade for me. This is more of an investment. I mean, you know, I figure it'll go long term. The only reason it's outside is I think it pays a 2% dividend, and that's really outside of my investment parameters. But it was so cheap when I bought it that, you know, it was just good value to me. So I figured, all right, I go with it. But that's my goal. But that, you know, that's nice. I'm glad to see it's moving up. It's been like such a dog. I mean, you're not going to see these crazy numbers. This was just inflated because that hedge fund cat was just pumping this thing up and buying it, and you know, it tanked because of that. But you know, a good valuation for the company is about 62, 64. And I think you'll see that. If people get over enthusiastic, you might. I don't think you get much higher than that. I think if it gets exuberant for any reason, maybe you could see 70. But I'm not even going to hang out for that. I see that 62. I'm taking it. You know, I wouldn't hold it long term because it's just there's no dividend in it. It doesn't pay me to hold it, and that's not how I invest. But hooray. Space. The final frontier. What's going on with XOM? It's dancing all over the place. So was that earnings that spiked it, Lamar? And Vincent J. Vincenzo. Getting all these new guys on there. Everybody hitting the likes. Like me up. AMD looks like it wants to come down further. AMD or AMC? Nobody's really talking about AMD. I like AMD. So, oy. That's kind of expensive for AMD. Looks like it wants to come down further. Yeah, I would say it looks kind of heavy. But you could expect it to close this daily gap. It looks like it's trying to do that. I don't know if it's going to go down any more than that. I don't know what's going on behind AMD. But you could look for that 112.85 and then reanalyze it. Looks like the daily momentum's rolling over. Obviously, the 60 momentum is rolling over. But it's probably going to make a double top. So I bet it'll move up higher from here before it comes down further. AMD. Yep, there you go. I'm looking at it right now, man. So I mean, that's a pretty aggressive move. Hold on 1 second, folks. I got to get this. All right, I'm done. So look, this is a healthy retracement, Hilmar, if you're still around on AMD. If you're looking at the 60-minute, it's already tagged the 23%. So yeah, you could expect, I mean, it could very well move back down to the 33 or 38, but you can expect it to go back up and make another top, which I do. But I think it'll probably make a lower high, probably around the 119 area or so. somewhere around there, maybe 119.5. But yeah, it looks like it's just going to do a correction, and you could probably buy this thing back at 105 at the 50%. I don't think it's going to do 100% retracement. You know, you might even get a 61%. So thus is my spiel. Here we are back to the S&P, and we're holding up 13. I like it, man. I like it. Everything's going well. Got my income trades just making me money. Market doesn't have to move, and I'm not going to aggravate myself trading in a lousy market. No, Vince, that was your AMC. So yeah, Viacom, I think I answered that for you. Cool. Yeah, that's how I like Viacom, man. So what else is going on out there, ladies and germs? Oh, AMC is just bouncing back and forth. A lot of action on it. But it's definitely, on the 60, it's definitely in a downtrend. Breaking out of that channel. But it's putting up a good fight, man. You can't argue. Just too much emotion in it right now. AMC I'm talking about, you know. And now, you know, pros are going to know how to manipulate that emotion. Amazon would have been the trade today. There's 21 points in that. I mean, who knows if you get in the low, but you might have been able to pick up a 10-point run on Amazon, which I guess is kind of cheesy when it comes to Amazon. I mean, Amazon's a mover. Looks like a head and shoulders on the S&P 5-minute. Shouldn't go any higher than where it is right now. And then breaking the low, you could see that neckline right here where my mouse is. We could actually make that chart a little bigger. So the neckline would be right down here. And there's a low right there. But it looks like it's going to blow up that pattern. But you can see this high and then the shoulder. If it turns around, I'll make a lower high, and that should bring it down. But you wait for the trigger. Hey, I'm going to take 2 minutes and just go get some more coffee. So you guys hold on. Give me a couple of minutes. All right. I'm back. I'm sure you missed me. Oh, sorry about that. I forget to hit the mute, but I mean, I was silent anyway, so I was texting a kid back. So we hit our target, which I think was 22. I mean, it just chopped its way up there. Oh, no, we didn't hit the 22 mark yet. So 22 and then 25 should be our targets for the markets. Mm-hmm. Hey, everybody, take the time to hit that subscribe and hit the bell so that you know when we're up and running. And hit the like because it goes a long way for me in running the channel. If you want to support the channel or show your appreciation, there's a PayPal link in the description where you could hit me up, buy me a coffee or a car, whatever suits your fancy. Because these streams are made possible by the viewers like you. There we go, breaking to new highs. I love me some coffee. Biden's new crypto stance. I don't know what his new crypto stance is. You know, I mean, I guess I would have to look it up unless you want to elaborate on it. But I don't see governments supporting it. You know, I mean, everybody likes to talk about the Civil War and how it was about freeing slaves, but it wasn't. It was a currency war. And, you know, the last thing the U.S. Government wants is a currency dominating its currency. So I think that these cryptocurrencies are going to get hammered, and the way they will use them or garner public support is that cryptocurrencies are used in illicit transactions, and you know. So if you're familiar with the dark web, I mean, that's how you transact on the dark web with cryptocurrency because it's non-traceable. So think about that, man. Crypto is a non-traceable currency in an era where the government is doing everything it can to track and trace you, you know, as far as video footage, facial recognition. I mean, you know, supercomputers clocking phone conversations and things like that. And now you're going to have a currency that is untraceable. I don't think so, man. It's going to get beat up a lot. It'll probably exist forever, but it's not going to be that dominant. It'll exist because, again, the governments will use it to transact covert operations. But just a lot of regulations going to go into it. Yeah. Well, yeah, they want to, you know, the capital gains issue. I mean, it's a good way to skirt tail capital gains, but I don't know. I mean, the whole concept will change. Yeah, you know. So yeah, you know, if you have an understanding of what blockchain is the manner in which you could track the currency by its identity. Which right now you can't track who's using it, but you could, you know, that's how you keep track of the currency, which is what mining is. You know, if you check the mapping on blockchain, you end up getting some some currency that's mining. So uh, I mean, all they have to do is start tagging addresses, internet addresses and things like that to blockchain, and they could clock the currency, which now kind of circumvents the value of it, the anonymity of it. So yeah, they're going to take some money off of it right now, by trying to tax it. But as far as an investment, I mean, I don't see it as a viable investment. So it's interesting. Yeah, they're going to hit it up with taxes. And I mean, it's logical. You pay capital gains tax in this country. Yeah, and I have no problem with that. I mean, the government needs support. I have a problem with the manner in which they spend the money, but I don't have a problem with capital gains tax, or sales tax. I don't have a problem with. Income tax, I have a problem with. I don't think, you should be taxing people's income. Tax the money when they spend it. I don't have a problem with property tax, which was how the government was initially set up. But way too many, and then fees and all the other extenuating stuff. I mean, honestly, close to 55% of your income goes to the government if you do the homework, between property tax, sales tax, gas tax, and service taxes on your utilities and things like that, in addition to the sales tax on the utilities. So, I mean, you want to improve everybody's quality of life, knock out some of these taxes. But I don't mind sharing my income tax or my capital gains tax with the government if you provide a safe and fair environment for me to conduct business and live. That's fine. And I don't mind sales tax, because if I choose to spend the money and you provided this environment where I could get these first world products, cool, I'll share it. And keep it coming. I don't like inheritance tax and stuff like that. I mean, that's just abusive. This is money that's been earned by a family, and the taxes have been paid on this money, and the efforts and our appreciation for our ability to make that money has been shown on this money. And then you're going to come and take half because somebody died. I mean, how ridiculous is that? I mean, how abusive is it? It's so abusive. I know I'm on a tangent again, but hey, that's off-grid trading, man. We go on tangents because we're the crazy people in the woods. So, I mean, they're just making hay while the sun shines. I mean, there's money being made in it. They want to get their piece. And that's all government comes down to. Just like these antitrust laws and these fines that these big companies are paying. These guys are making a killing, and the government just wants to get their piece. And they have to, because they're so irresponsible with their spending. I mean, why call these things budgets when you just keep raising the budget? We have a budget, but we're going to have to lift the spending limits, and that's all they do. They never stay within a budget. They just, the government's about to shut down. You have to increase the spending limits on the budget. Good morning, Dave. Check out SCR. I owned 1,000 shares. Was a good trade. Okay, are you gloating or you need some input? Because if you're gloating, then hey, congratulations, man. I'm glad you're making money. If you need some input, I'll do a little homework. And, obviously it's a technical trade. SCR. Wow, that's a nice move, huh? $13 on a $30 stock. I mean, a 50% move. What's the catalyst on this? Victory lap. All right, good. So I don't have to go nuts with it. Good for you, man. Media and gaming. Yeah. Was it a news announcement or what? What was the catalyst? Just be careful, man. I mean, don't get too greedy. Take what you got. I mean, you know, this is a lot of empty space, and don't be surprised if that empty space gets filled. It's a gaming company. Score Media and Gaming. What? Yeah, but what was the catalyst? Was it earnings, or did they get an approval, or what? I mean, why was it trading at 16 for days and then opened up at 30 today? Oh, oh, look at that. All right, so this baby was up there too. So yeah, sucker jumps around a bit, huh? My draft king leaps. Oh, Vincent.